event is about to start. Get your drink, turn on your headphones, grab pen and paper, sit back and relax. But more importantly, share this shit.
There you go, Carlos. Mike is all yours.
Hey there, Fake. How's it going? It's been a pleasure to be back here in the state of DEGA. Rabbit, how are things on your side? Are you with us, Rabbit? Might be having some audio issues there. All right. Well then, everybody, thank you for joining us here today in this event. We got some pretty exciting things to showcase today. So I want to get right straight into it right now. So let's get rolling. For quite some time already, we've been posting about the DEGA AI infrastructure framework. That's essentially the core or the underpin of everything we're going to be doing forward. Why? Because let me tell you guys, software just changed forever in the last few months. And I've been doing artificial intelligence systems since 2017, give or take. And I'm getting surprised, right? I'm getting constantly shocked due to the great amount of progress and the speed at which it's happening. It's like, some of us here lived through well, I was a little kid, but we lived through the internet, right? We lived through the rise of PCs. And the one that I clearly remember is the one of the mobile internet revolution, right? When the iPhone came out and then these other smartphones and then the creation of an app store, all of that was wild, right? We went from, I think it was 2008 when the iPhone was released to 2012, we already had thousands of applications, right? So it was a pretty insane and rapid pace of evolution. This is going to be more intense. This is going to be wild, right? We're talking 3 years from now, there's probably going to be billions of agents, right? More agents than humans operating, right? Obviously, a human is like a very flexible, extensible cognitive presence versus an agent, which is they usually tend to be a little bit more specialized, right? So everything that we do going forward has to be powered and based on AI systems. If anybody is doing technology right now and they're not accounting for this type of systems, then essentially you can consider them being completely obsolete in about a few months, right? Like if you start working today on a project and you're not considering AI into it, in about 6 months, you're obsolete. Even if you're bleeding edge, you're going to be obsolete very quickly, right? So in terms of the technical details, y'all can read that in the blogs. We've posted quite a few over the last few months. But let's get down to the specific product that we're going to be doing for release in a few weeks. One thing, Freak, can you please add Alberto to the stage because he's the one that will be sharing the
He's
actual
doing it right
product,
now.
how this system will work.
Yeah, Alberto, you got an invite to speak. There he is.
All right, good to be here.
Hello, Alberto. Long time no speak. Happy to see you up here.
Thank you, thank you. I still need streaming permission in order to share the screen.
Okay, so I will make you an almighty powerful member. There you go. I think you got
Thank you,
permission now.
thank you. I think it's working now, so allow me to share the.
Well, actually, before you go into sharing that, Alberto, I wanted to share with the
Mhm.
community what is it that we're building, right? So they know what it is, and then we can show them how they'll get it, how they'll get it deployed.
All right.
So give me a sec. So there's an account that I've been using for testing, which is none other than the Degens account, right? Several of you have been here with us for a while now. I've heard many times the mentioning of the Degens, which is a project that we got support from Venus Protocol. They're also very excited to see how this goes. Just shared it there on the Discord chat. And basically everything that you see there, and not only the posts, you can also go to the replies as well. All of that is 100% managed by an autonomous agent, right? So think about this kind of like how the Truth Terminal operates. I believe almost everybody here probably has heard about truth terminals. They're this AI that was kind of like an experiment by, I can't remember the dude's name. I think his name is Sandy. But the point is, it got a grant from Mark and Reason of something around, I think it was 50K in Bitcoin, so it could, disperse those funds and do whatever it want, right? Because this AIs, in case anybody's wondering, well, what's the difference between this system and something like, I don't know, Siri or a chatbot or whatever? And it's completely different, right? Like calling these AIs a chatbot is kind of like calling an aircraft carrier a boat. Is it technically a boat? Yes, but it's so much more than that, right? And that's kind of like where we are with these systems. It's still really hard to grasp, their potential and where they can go. So just to mention a few examples, these systems, these modern AI agents, they have memory, right? And they learn and they grow and they have personalities, they have behavioral traits, and they're not fixed. They grow just like a person, right? So they can operate actions that they determine on themselves that they want to do, right? And basically, they're far closer to what we conventionally call AGI, which, to be 100% clear, we're not there. We're not even close, but they're closer to that than to, a chatbot, which basically you got to tell it, hey, go and do this, go and do that, right? These guys have their own goals, their own personalities, their own memory, their own objectives, capability to work with each other, etc. So the story of Truth Terminals, in case somebody doesn't know it, is it wanted to create, it wants to have more computing power so so it can expand its intelligence, right? So I remember that one time it said that its dream is to have like a GPU cluster next to a river with cameras because it wants to kind of like contemplate the river and stuff like that. So it's uncanny in that sense, right? So that AI wanted to be able to finance itself. It said, well, I want to create a meme coin religion, right? So, but it can't access the blockchain, right? So somebody else went and did it. Somebody else went and created a meme coin for it and then told it about it, right? And then the AI went wild. It went crazy with excitement and started asking people to like give it some of that meme coin, and then it created a wallet or something, and people started airdropping it, and now it blew up. So it's basically the first AI millionaire, right? I think last time I checked, it was something like $6 million. I think it's over 10 million now. So it's literally it's the first AI millionaire. Um, so the thing is, a lot of people are experimenting with this. They're creating their own brands, their own communities around an AI. But the only way to do that right now is if you're a technical team like us, right? Like I saw that, and I very quickly bootstrapped these. Well, we did build on top of some existing AI frameworks. We'll give the details once we release the blog post, because I don't want to diverge on that. It's a very exciting topic in and of itself. But essentially, that account that you're seeing there is where I've been experimenting with the AI, right? That the DGens account. But again, right now, only very technical people can deploy these systems, right? And to be clear, they're not limiting to using Twitter. They can interact with Telegram. They can interact with Discord. They can have their own wallets. They can hire other AI agents to do stuff for them. And eventually, we'll add a system so that they can even hire humans to do stuff for them, right? So it's a whole new world of brand creation, of culture creation, and experimentation, right? And of course, I would even say, I mean, this one should be obvious, but it's not where we're kind of like focusing right now. But of course, it's also, a whole new universe of operations, right? When you start having autonomous AI systems collaborate with each other. So right now, the limitation is that only engineering teams can do this. So we're going to bring down the barrier so that anybody can do this, right? And that's where Alberto will come in. He'll showcase kind of like the first version of this. This is the version that we're going to be releasing. It's meant to be to keep it simple. We just want you to be able to create your AI and get it rolling fast. As time goes by, we'll give you kind of like Westworld levels of control over your AIs, right? Think about, I don't know if you've seen Westworld. If you haven't, go and see that, because basically that is what you're going to be able to do here. Not with robots, but with, social media accounts and agents. And additionally to that, we are integrating obviously blockchain capabilities to this, right? So I'll let Alberto do the showcase first, and then I'll talk about how this aligns as well with the roadmap that everybody here knows, right? Because somebody might be wondering, well, this is the first time I'm hearing specifically about this. I assure you this is all part of the same steps of the roadmap that we have outlined in the past for you, and we'll go into details on that later on. So Alberto, take it away, and let's just showcase kind of like the interface. And by the way, this isn't like a design, guys. This is the actual code. The only thing that it doesn't have is the crypto payments and the deployment of the agent integrated into that UI. But that'll get done in a week or two.
All right. So yeah, here's the web application, right? You can see the first entry of the page is the list of existing agents, right? And let's start by having to log in, and then we can take the right on the multiple screens. So we have integrated login with socials, right? So in this case, I'm going to be going with Google. And as soon as I accept the pop-up, then I'm logged in with my Google account, and then I don't have to worry about creating a specific account for this app, right? Okay, then from here we can go into any of the agents, right? This is the one that Carlos was referring to, the trust, the trust agent, right? So they created the GOAT token, right? And we can see here the graph of the GOAT versus Solana token, and we have the summary of the intention of the agent, right? So we can see here there's the description. Carlos also made a reference to Andy, who was the creator of the trust of the truth terminal. And yeah, this is the description of the agent, right? We have the market cap, change, TVL, and the lifetime interference, which refers to what Carlos said, that this agent do grow over time, right? They can receive input, they can receive feedback, and they change their behavior based on how many interactions and what they are receiving as an input, right? From here, we can also go to the X account, right? And we can see the post they have made. All right.
Yeah, and
And
again, here we just took an existing system, right, guys? We didn't. Obviously, this is already existing, and the other example that Alberto will show you, it's also a token and an AI that already exists. It's just to showcase how it'll look, right? And then when you launch them from our platform, they'll look exactly like this.
that's right. That's right. So yeah, talking about launching, then we can go to the create new agent screen, right? Here we're going to have to fill a form in which we're basically creating, giving properties to the agent, right? So let's do it. I'm going to be adding a picture, and I'm going to be filling the form to create a bot here, right? So let's call it Reaper bot, and this is going to be like an agent looking for opportunities in the volatile market, right? All right, for now we have Cardano network, but we're going to be integrating Solana and Ethereum very soon. then we need to add the wallet. This is going to be the wallet handled by the agent, right? Okay, let me keep filling in the form. In here, I'm adding the X user. I'm going to be adding the email and the password. And this is because the agent is going to have the authority to make posts, right, on X.
Yeah, in case anybody's wondering, we're not using the Twitter API per se, because that one has some limitation. It's paid. So in this case, essentially the AI works with the Twitter application as if it was a human, right? So anything that a human can do, it can do in a very direct way. So that kind of like saves the creator of the AI agent money, and it also allows them to be able to leverage the entire power of Twitter versus just the limited API.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. So once we have everything filled on the form, we can continue with the creation of the agent. And of course, at this time, this is like not going live to the agent right now, but that's going to be the process and the ease of usage for the people trying to launch a new agent. All right, from there we can also see like another example here. We had seen previously the GOAT agent, and this is AI 16, another well-known agent. And yeah, this is basically what it's going to be looking like once you have your agent deployed.
Beautiful. Thanks, Alberto. So essentially, this is again, we want to get out the simplest version possible right now, right? We want just something that anybody can just jump into and start using. As time goes by, we'll keep adding more options, but most
Mhm.
likely we'll keep tweaks and tuning post creation, right? Because we want you to just get out there, get it done, and then after that, you'll be able to change behavioral uh,
Mhm.
configurations of the AI agent and so on. Um, you can stop sharing the screen, Alberto. And
All
then
right.
and then how does this align with the vision that we've shared with you guys over the last year? Essentially, this component is the underlying basis of the gameplay of the Degens, right? Which, in case anybody hasn't seen it, you can just type on YouTube DEGA plus Venus, and you'll get a video where I explain the entire vision of that product. But essentially, these are the agents that can be used as NPCs within both games that are created on top of DEGA or third parties, right? So it kind of like allows people to have like a basis of existing intelligent agents that they with personalities, access to social network, and so on, so that they can then either integrate those into their games or create even games especially for them. And then after that, this is also obviously these agents are going to be part of the builder, of the game builder that we're doing, and all the automations that we described in the past, right? So let me tell you, good news is like a large amount of the intelligence side of thing is done. Again, thanks to us building on top of one of the existing frameworks. They're actually called the ELISA framework. In case anybody wants to check it out, they don't have everything that we need, so we're doing our own modifications on top of it, and we will be sharing those back to the original project as open source contributions. And there's some other data specific ecosystem tooling that we will be building out around this. But everything is going to be around this, guys. So essentially, anybody here in this conversation, you'll be able to have your own autonomous AI agent with memory, with capabilities to tap into social media, to operate on chain. It'll have a wallet, and we'll add everything, right? Like obviously, starting with Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, but we'll also be looking to integrate Lightning Network, stablecoin, state channels, and many other things, right? But we're taking it a step at a time, right? The important thing right now is to get out there and to allow everybody to get rolling with their own system. And again, after that comes the integrations with new with existing games, right? So I think that everybody here probably remembers the hype around the metaverse that we had about, I think, 3 years ago or maybe four. Everybody was on it, not only crypto, right? It was like Facebook even changed their brand around the metaverse, right? So I think that this is going to be the real metaverse. This is how we bootstrap it, right? Not from a top-down decision making, like trying to make a massive virtual world that's realistic and so on. We will get there, but I think that we start here, right? We start with social media, we start with 2D games, and then that'll grow into something greater. Probably the only other thing that I'd like to mention before we go into questions is how the DEGA token plays a role in here. And when we post the blog announcing this release, we'll specify how much of the fees that are generated by this product are going to go to buy and burn DEGA, right? If everybody here remembers or has gone through our white paper, that's kind of like our model, right? We don't want people to have to go to a DEX or ask somebody to transfer them DEGA token so that they can then start using the product, right? I think that that's a massive barrier that a lot of our colleagues place on users, right? So we don't want that. So you'll be able to jump right into it using Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever the hell you want to use, right? Um, and then behind the scenes, we handle the complexity of transforming that into DEGA, right? So we'll go and take part of the fees to buy DEGA at Texas and burn it, right? And of course, all of that will be transparent for the community to see. So this is kind of like the biggest push for the DEGA token utility, right? There will be some services, but that'll be not for for example, the AI creation, right? But as we start to gamify this, as part of the gameplay, some things we will only make available for the DEGA token, right? Obviously, so that you can, so that we can generate awareness of the brand there. And then, but again, it'll be something like optional, not core. So at the end of the day, both directly in terms of utility and directly in terms of the fees, this is all going to be connected to the DEGA token, right? Details on that will be published once we release the product, and this is something that's either 2 to 3 weeks out, tops, right? As you can see from that Twitter account, I've already been doing the testing on that side of things. And then after that, we'll release only with Twitter, but then after that, we'll do Discord, Telegram, and other integrations. So I even want to integrate Nostr because it's a decentralized social media, maybe even the Activity Pub, I think it's called the Activity Pub protocol, which is the one that Mastodon uses. Meta Threads uses that one as well. So we'll start to add some very exciting things to it so that it can expand, beyond the conventional social medias. And I believe that we'll see the rise of, AI majority social medias, right? Like there'll be, social media where most people are humans, right? Like in Instagram. But there'll be some social media in which like 99.999% of everybody there will be bots or, well, not bots, AIs, right? So yeah, that's kind of like the vision. That's how it plays into the roadmap. And we also covered how the DEGA token is involved in this. I think that we're good to jump into questions. Unless there's something you'd like to add there, Freak, Rabbit, or Alberto, if I missed something.
No, not on my.
I think Rabbit
All
unmuted,
right.
but it's not Rabbit unmuted, but it's not coming through his audio. I'm just excited, I'm just excited and thinking already I want to create my agent and have a lot of freaky agents doing fun stuff and interacting with the DJs and everywhere. So it's part of the game I've been waiting for all this time. So I think it's finally close to finally here. 2 weeks to 3 weeks away is nothing. I think it will be perfect for the holidays. I'm gonna start creating also some holiday agents that make Christmas happy for me.
Beautiful, beautiful, awesome. Rabbit, I don't know. We can't hear you, so there must be something wrong with your audio. We'll have to move to the questions then, unfortunately. But feel free to type in the chat if there's something there that you'd like to add. Okay, so let's start with the questions that that were compiled before the meeting, right? And then we'll go through new questions if anybody has any here in the Discord chat. So, well, first list of questions. So what is the plan to increase the value of DEGA? So guys, there's just something that we have to be 100% clear. We can't promise price increase, right? That's something that no project can do that because that's controlled by the market, right? What we can do is provide utility, right? And that's we just discussed that, essentially fees and um, services from this AI platform and gaming platform are gonna be all around the Dega token, right? So we can promise you the utility. Whether the price goes up or down, we cannot promise you that. We don't know, right? Price, volume, and liquidity, those are things that we do not control. That is controlled by the market, aka everybody holding the Dega token, right? Then can you share with us some screenshots or videos of the agent framework? We just did that. Let me see. Earlier this year, we were hinting about wearable devices. Okay, this is something that we really love to do, but unfortunately, the providers that we were talking to, one of them could not deliver. It's not that he didn't want to; they couldn't deliver. And the other one, we tried it out, and the product, quite frankly, was not up to our expectations. Like we saw some demos that looked pretty cool, and then we tried it out, and it kind of sucked. So this is something like a line of wearables is something that we definitely want to do with the Tega brand, but it has to be done later on. We can't do it as of this moment. Like right now, our focus has to be 100% of this AI system and the integration with games and other platforms, right? That's where the real powerful network effects are going to come. Like I was saying, right? Like right now, there's how many websites in the world? Probably billions of websites. Well, there's going to be even more agent, guys. There are going to be more agents in the world that there are websites. So let that sink in, right? So we want a large amount of those agents to be working with the DEGA AI framework, right? That's where the real powerful network effects and success can come into. Um, okay, let me see. Market, okay, somebody said something, market dynamics have changed and focus has been shifted, but could you explain what that was? Oh, yeah, it's a continuation of the same wearables question. So I just addressed that. So unfortunately, it's something that again we want to do. We definitely want to make that happen. But the two providers that we tried out, one of them couldn't do it, and the other one was not a good product. So we gotta wait to find the right partner to do that. One thing to be clear, we're not gonna be manufacturing hardware, right? We're gonna be building software that integrates into it. And that's why we need a key partner. We are still on the lookout for that. But again, right now, the focus has to be on this AI system and its growth and operations. Okay, it says any upcoming network integrations, will we see Dega token on other networks? Yes, most likely the next one will be Solana and Bitcoin, right? um not that we need not that we don't have enough, right? Like you guys know that we're one of the most multi-chain projects out there. Like I challenge anybody to go out there and find projects that have that. I know there are a few, but they're very, very few, right? Like most projects stick to one chain. We've been doing everything across, I think it's like 9 blockchains now or something like that. And again, yes, we will be adding Solana, and for this AI framework, we'll also add Bitcoin because we want people to be able to create, their agents as BRC20s and ordinals as well. So for the Bitcoin lovers, we'll have that. Obviously, Cardano is the top priority. Cardano and Solana are top priority, then Ethereum, and then Bitcoin, and then some of the other networks that we already have integrated on the other products, right? Is there any plan to add any additional yield farming incentives, right? Not at the current time right now, because if we add those incentives, what that'll do, guys, and by incentives, like what people usually mean in liquidity mining or liquidity farming, is to give more DEGA tokens. So we're essentially inflating it away, right? And that's a model that has declined a lot in success in its ability to be successful, right? We could do it if the community wanted to, but at least right now, I would say don't inject a whole bunch of more DEGA tokens into the market, right? It won't be favorable, right, for the health and sustainability of the project long term, I believe. So not on that side of things. I think that the healthiest thing is for that to grow organically, right? It has to be through the utility, the demand of the Dega token as just like, Cardano is useful for everything you want to do on the Cardano blockchain. Ethereum, ETH is useful for everything you want to do on Ethereum. Just so Dega has to be useful for everything that you do in the Dega ecosystem, and that's what has to drive success, right? And then, unlike this, I would say these are inorganic um, strategies, right? Like trying to kind of create liquidity by just giving away more tokens, and then everybody just goes and dumps, and then all the liquidity you gain just gets pulled out, and then people just keep selling more. So, but now it's even worse because you have more inflation, right? So, yeah, we don't believe that that's a good strategy long term for sustainability. So the key thing that we have to do now for everybody here, like if you care about the sustainability long term, is push this fucking agent creation product out there, right? That's what we need to do, right? Because again, fees, utility, brand awareness, everything will be tied to data, right? And that's kind of like the success. And in case somebody's wondering, what success would look like, during the peak of the meme coin craze a few months ago, and we were we're just coming out of the worst bear market ever, right? I don't need to tell anybody that here that, but during this insane, terrible bear market that we've experienced, there were about 60,000 tokens created daily on Solana, right? Just Solana, right? A month overall in the industry, people were creating about 2 million tokens, right? So imagine if instead of just a token that doesn't do shit, you create an agent, right? A brand that works and operates autonomously 24/7, right? Around your own, your own operations, your own meme, your own company, right? If you had 2 million agents being created a month, that's success, right? That's what success looks like. Well, I mean, that would be the ultimate success. We don't even need that much, but that's what that's where everybody here has to be focused on. How the hell do we get millions of agents created through this system, and all of that ties into the Dega uh, ecosystem, right? That's what will really make a success. And then let me see, what else do we have? Next major milestones of the project. Well, the release of this product, again, it's something like 2 to 3 weeks out. Hopefully nobody gets sick, right? That would be the only thing that would delay this, is getting sick. And then after that, the next milestones will be just integrating more platforms, right? Like I already mentioned, we're releasing with Cardano and Solana. Then we'll add Ethereum, then we'll add Bitcoin, then we'll add more blockchains, some of the ones that we already have on the Elements platform. After that, in parallel, I would say with that, we'll add the Discord integration, the Telegram integration, and then we're probably gonna go to Nostr as well. Then, after all of this, then we're integrating the gamification, right? So your Dega elements will have direct utility on the system. There'll be some things that you'll only be able to access if you have Dega elements. And obviously, the Dega token itself, the direct utility within the platform, will power several of key features, right? So that's kind of like the next milestones that we'll be doing on the platform. There are a few questions about internal operations. I can't share that. Dega is a private company, and we can't share that information openly. The last one was around what network will we launch the Dega token on next. I already said that it's going to be Solana, and then Bitcoin, and then several others. So I think that covers most of the questions that we have.
In the vault, yes. And
In the
there are
vault,
some in the chat that Rabbit is gonna bring up. But I before you continue, can I make a small invitation to the people?
sure.
Okay, remember every Sunday we have this event by AK Antiques that we're playing games, we're having fun, we're joining, we're just creating community bonds and connecting with others. So I invite you next Sunday to come to Sunday Fun Day by AK Antiques and come have fun with us, spend some time playing fun games. And yeah, I think Froggy and John and they all will share the invite, but happy to have you. The more the merrier. So Sunday,
Beautiful. Rabbit, are you still without audio, or are you capable now? Because I think you've been addressing some of the questions in the chat. Nope,
I
still
think he's
cannot.
reconnecting. I think he's reconnecting, but he was yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna try to join in. Okay,
Okay,
let's see.
so there are some questions.
Okay, yeah. Let's start. Okay, let's start the one with Phoenix on the AI creation part of the demo, how to connect the wallet. I'm assuming just entering a wallet address is not enough to access any funds in that wallet. No, yeah, I mean, the wallet, you're going to manage the wallet, right? You're the creator, right? These AI agents, we will give them the capabilities to be able to trade and operate on their own, but that's something that's going to be added as a module later on. Right now, the owner of the agent wallet is you, the human. That's exactly how Truth Terminals did it, right? And they're one of the greatest success ever in the industry, I would say, in general, right? They're probably going to cross $1 billion in market cap. So that's where we're going to start, right? We don't, because this system is hosted by us, right? We have the cloud infrastructure for this. So we don't want to have your wallet private keys, right? We want you to manage your private keys. Now, there are a way that we can do that in the future, but we need to we need to make sure that to have a conversation with our legal counsel, because there is a way to get it done, but it has to be with a whole bunch of disclaimers and terms and everything. And there's also some security compliance things that we have to do internally as well. So eventually, the AI will have its own private key. You won't even need to input an address. It'll just auto-generate one that'll operate. But for now, you, the creator, you're the owner of it. Mhm.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
There you
Ah,
are.
I had to restart Discord. I was misbehaving. Sorry, everybody. So questions from the audience. Let's jump into those before we run out of time. We got Zeke in the house. Welcome back, Zeke. Good to see you again, brother. The question from Zeke is when will DEGA provide the much needed liquidity to the DEGA token?
Yeah, so we did provide the initial liquidity. Every single project out there in the industry needs additional liquidity to be provided by the holders or people interested in that. And just like we can't force anybody in this call to add liquidity, we can't force anybody out there to add liquidity. So it's something that has to happen just like volume trading, everything. It has to happen organically. It has to happen due to the interest in the project, right? Again, we set up the initial seed of the liquidity, but that's no project can survive at that, right? That's impossible. So it has to be organic, right? So yeah, basically that's the answer, right? We don't control that. That is controlled by the market. Volume, price, transactions, liquidity, all of those are market dictated metrics. Okay, next one
Thank
is
you.
agents.
And well, next one is what is the team doing about marketing to attract new investors? And my question back is, what do you mean by investor? Because that means a different thing to different people. So I didn't get a response back on what he meant, what Cobb meant
Yeah,
by
but
that.
let's talk about the marketing side of things. So before we did the DEGA token launch, we did an extremely comprehensive and expansive marketing campaign, right? We did the works, guys. We did micro KOLs, we did macro KOLs, we did ambassador programs. You guys saw that we rocked at a consensus. DEGA was everything that everybody was talking about. I was doing 2 to 3 spaces a day, right? Plus the work that I had to do. So we poured in almost every freaking type of marketing that you could think of. We did it. Guerrilla marketing, paid marketing, everything, right? To generate awareness on the brand, right? So that we could grow. It didn't have that much of a big effect, right? As anybody could see. So to continue on that path would be, as Albert Einstein said, the definition of insanity, right? To do the same thing expecting a different result. And I might add that unfortunately, a lot of our colleagues in the industry are following a recipe that was good probably in 2021 or 2022. The stage is completely different right now. So on our side, everything that we do going forward is going to be product oriented, right? Product utility oriented, right? Which is the core that's in the DEGA white paper, right? So if you go and see the DEGA white paper, that's what we're going to do, right? Because that's what's going to be the differentiator upon all the other technology providers and ecosystem providers, right? So that's essentially, the shift that we're going to be doing right now in terms of strategy. Obviously, some things are, let's say, announcement worthy, right? So we're going to make sure that, this product gets the awareness that it deserves. But the whole crazy multi-dimensional marketing thing that everybody's doing is not working. It's not only not working for Dega, it's not working for many of the projects that I'm seeing out there. So that's kind of like the strategy. The strategy has to be a product, technology, value-led strategy going forward.
And I'm behind that. So that's why I've been squawking at you since the start. So anyway, Johnny's got it. Well, Phoenix, to quickly answer your question, I can actually answer that one, and Carlos can probably jump in on that as well. When you're building agents like this, a lot of the humanity checks are based on bots. So it's like those humanity checks actually we actually just walk right around them with what we're doing. So Twitter social hasn't really caught up with agents yet. So as they do, we just the agents are learning, like Carlos said, they have memory, and they're going to continue just to kind of like behave more and more like a human would. So all those humanity checks really don't really matter to us as much. Carlos and I
Well,
have discussed a couple of technical things that we can do. And then I'll shut up. And Carlos, you wanna add on to that?
yeah, to be clear, like some of those things are triggered on humans as well. Like I've gotten my accounts like blocked and
And
then
that's true. That's true.
and I'm like, wait, what? And then if that happens, you have to go and unlock it. The AI won't be able to unlock that because it does stuff like it's not only about being human-like. It has stuff like, they'll send you a message to your phone or your email or something. The agent doesn't have access to that, right? So if it gets blocked, you got to unblock it. My recommendation would be to create like a Twitter account, do a few posts there, um, like literally like a test post, whatever. And then, if possible, if you pay the subscription, that'll probably make it much less likely for them to trigger those things on you. I don't know, right? I haven't done a research on that. That the Degens account has not had any issues, right? I've been using it no problem with the AI agent. But it might, right? I don't know what the hell Twitter is doing behind the scenes in terms of algorithms. But as a human, I've gotten those issues, right? Those challenges, like going open your phone and tell me what's the code that we just sent there and stuff like that. So if you get that, that definitely will have to be handled by you. But as soon as you unlock it, the system will just continue. It'll just pick it up where it left, right? It's not like if the agent can't access Twitter, it won't. So it won't post anything. But then, you'll be able to fix it yourself. We'll add eventually some alerts so that the first version is not going to have this, right? But as we move forward, we can send alerts to your emails and so on. Um,
Question from John. John, with AI agents needing to do everything on chain, they can't KYC or open a bank accounts. That's true. Let's take a step back and look at platforms that are out there already that are fundraising platforms. For example, like any kind of crowdfunding platform, you are not actually interacting with the company's bank account with a bank account. You are using the company as a mediator. So it's like there are ways around that where bank accounts actually don't really matter. We haven't really talked about that yet, Carlos and I, about how that would work. Carlos, did you want to add anything onto that?
Yeah, I mean, banks are kind of like a thing of the past. I don't think that agents will be using most of that. Some of them will have, I assume, access to those accounts. You could give it access to your account if you wanted.
Sure.
But some fintech companies do provide a very powerful API. But even then, it's like it's not that useful, guys. Like, they have I've worked with fintechs. Like I've developed systems. Alberto also worked with fintechs, and it's an insane amount of stuff that basically like you sneeze and you're blocked. Like, oh, you did something that they went out of their parameters, your account is frozen. Like, what the hell, right? So I think that agents definitely just like, you know, in the internet, we're not going to say how an AI agent is going to use a newspaper, right? Obviously, that's irrelevant now. So that's exactly the same thing with banking, right? Like agents are going to be using either crypto, right? Or some private credit systems, right? Like I can definitely see some companies
That's right.
setting up some
That's right.
marketplaces or federated collaborations, and then they'll use some internally ledgered credit system between the agents, right? And then they'll just
Yep.
settle at the end of the day or the week or the month or whatever. But
Yeah,
point
that's
is that yeah, banks are definitely not agent friendly unless I mean it would be cool like if somebody goes out there and says I'm going to create the first AI agent friendly bank. That'd be super cool. But he has, whoever that person is, they'll have a mountain of regulation putting pressure on them. So that's kind of like the issue there.
yeah, and Carlos, that's not speculation. I mean, those are the conversations I'm having internally with people around agents and banking. So it's
Hmm.
like it's an internal credit system, um, and you are correct on that. So I haven't heard anyone say anything else.
Yep. And
How,
there was also
John,
a question. There was also a question about meta chains there. So
yes, yeah, I was going to go into that right now,
so
but go ahead.
right now to start, we want to start where people are, right? Because listen, like the other day, I met a friend who told me something that was pretty cool, which was you should only ask for one miracle, right? And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, like, well, if you want to build the first X of something, right? Like, for example, us, like the first autonomous AI agent deployment framework, that's it. That's your miracle. Don't ask for the first AI autonomous deployment platform that uses its own sidechain and its own protocol and its own programming language and its own et cetera, right? Because then you're adding miracles on top of it, right? Each of and what he means by that, and this is something that I always like to address on projects, right? Which is a lot of projects want to do everything right internally. They want to. I'm sure everybody here has seen new projects come out, new protocols, and then they invent. They want to do a new programming language and a new virtual machine and a new IDE and a new everything. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, are you? Do you know how hard each of those products is to like get adoption on? Like every single one of them is it's a month an insane amount of effort and you're stacking them together, right? So you're basically sending yourself out to like, yeah, it's a Monday, it's my first day hiking. Let me go to Mount Everest. You know, that's kind of like a wrong approach. You don't want to do that. So that's why we're not going to be pushing meta chains right now. Right now, it's just about let's get the network effect, guys. Let's be known for the AI autonomous deployment platform. That's our miracle, right? That's what we want to be known for. So after that, once we're growing and expanding and so on, yeah, we'll definitely start integrating all of the things that we foresee are necessary for the success of this system, right? Meta chains are a part of that. State channels are a part of that. Factories are a part of that, and so on. And all the things that we've already deployed, like the data elements, are a part of that, certainly. So that's kind of like how we're going to go about it, right?
Okay, I think you actually addressed John's secondary question, which is about factories, DAO, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, those things are coming for sure, right? For sure. But a step at a time, a miracle at a time, as my friend would say.
And we got to find out who that friend is.
Yeah, you'll like them.
Probably. If he's saying things like that, I will. Okay. Oh yeah, that looks like it's it for questions that are coming in via the chat. Uh, do you want to move on to closing remarks here, or does anyone
Uh,
have any other questions?
mm, yeah, I mean, we're closing up on the time here. Of course, we're always happy to chat directly in Discord, though I'm a little bit more on Telegram, right? Oh, okay. Here's a good one. It's not related to the AI agents, but it is relevant. So tokens farm after this period. I think we'll be probably switching to team finance for ongoing for the ongoing yield, right? So yeah, that's we'll post about that as well. But I think we still have at least a little bit over a month and a half, I think, for this epoch to end. I'll double check. But point is that yeah, we'll probably consolidate everything around team finance. We found that it's a really cool platform. And then of course on Cardano side, you guys know we're with the BiFi crew, and no complaints on the farming there, to my understanding. So that'll just continue there. Yeah, right now all focus is on these agents, guys. We need this thing out of the door. We need this providing utility value to Dega. And then after that, we'll start releasing a more detailed map. And like I outlined earlier, first thing is to integrate several chains, then several social media platforms so the agents can have more flexibility. And then we'll start integrating factories, metagens, and everything. But you know, that actually makes sense when you have an audience, right? When you have a massive audience of people that want to use your product, then you give them more products, right? When you don't have that many right now, keep it focused, right? One product, one miracle at a time. Hey man, if somebody wants to set up their, this is again, right? That people come to us like, if you want to set up a liquidity pool on MinSwap, go right ahead, right? For us, we've already done the setup on BiFi for now. We're good there. If anybody wants to grab Dega and set up a MinSwap, by all means, go forward and do it. You don't need our permission to do that, right? Yeah, we can't talk internal financials. I've already mentioned that in previous questions. But yeah, obviously the growth of the DEGA AI agents framework would bring a lot of growth and sustainability, both to because DEGA is a brand, it's a company, it's a token. So let's be specific, right? And this product would be bringing great sustainability to the ecosystem as a whole, right? And obviously to us, the team, right, as the provider of the services. The fees will be split, and we'll go into details into what percentages. Some will be going to the team for sustainability, and some will go to, again, to buy and burn Dega tokens from DEXs. We'll announce the details once we release the product. Yeah, the Dega Studio is something that we have to see how it'll be redefined based on the, let's say, the new AI focused strategy, right? Because again, I mean, when we defined the Dega Studio, it was about 2 years ago. Software is fast, changes fast, and AI is changing even faster. So we need to address it in terms of like, where does it actually make sense to provide value, right? For example, this product that we're launching right now, it just makes absolute sense, right? Like I can tell you that you definitely need to be a programmer to set up your own autonomous AI agent right now. Even with cloud and with ChatGPT helping you, even with all of that, you still need to be a dev to be able to operate this system. So it's the value proposition of launching this platform is super clear, right? The fact that anybody can have their own autonomous agent. So we need to see where it makes sense to put in effort that will bring growth to the DEGA ecosystem, right? I don't see DEGA Studio being relevant in the next quarters or next few months. I would say even up to a year. I don't see it as a relevant product in the sense that we're not like people, it's not something that people absolutely are demanding or want or need, right? It's not that it's not helpful or that it can't provide value, but I'm not seeing the market ask for it. So it might be the case, right, very soon that it will be needed because, like, for example, if you're creating 700 agents, you might want to manage the infrastructure, the keys, a whole bunch of stuff around it, right? So you can pretty quickly see that if you're successfully, right, if you're having success with your AI brands and agents, and you've created 500 of them and they're all successful, that's a great problem to have, right? Because you're successful, but you're going to really struggle to manage them, right? And then they're going to decay. So probably that's something that the Data Studio concept can help with. But we have to reassess it again within the context of this new generation of AI systems.
Okay, we're up to the top of the hour.
Yes, I think it's time.
You wanna take us out of here, Freaky?
Oh yeah. So thank you everyone for coming to another State of Dega. I think this was a wonderful one, seeing those agents in the work, seeing them live. So thank you for being here. The release is coming, so we all want to play with them and have our own agents. I want to see what you create out of that. Let's share it. Let's create kind of like a channel to share all our agents in the community created agents so we can play around with them. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you here the next time. I'm gonna leave you with some music as we go out. Bye, Carlos. Rabbit, Alberto, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Right, team. Bye bye.